Hey, real quick before we start. If you're planning to plant your summer garden in July, I need you to stop right now. Here's the truth most backyard gardeners learn the hard way. By the time July hits, it's already too late for most crops. And I'm not talking about a slightly smaller harvest. I'm talking about zero fruit, dead seedlings. Flowers that drop before they ever become food. But here's the good news. If you plant the right crops before July, you can have a garden that produces all summer long, even through heat waves. We're going through 13 crops today. Stick around because point 12 will completely flip how you think about kale. There's actual science behind planting it in summer heat that nobody talks about. And point 13? It's the one crop that almost never fails, keeps producing through summer and into winter, and most people completely overlook it. Let's get into it. 1. Bush beans. Fastest win on the list, harvest in just 45 days. Alright, let's kick things off with the easiest win on this entire list. Bush beans. If you've never grown them before, here's why they're a perfect starting crop. They go from seed to harvest in as little as 45 days. Plant them in early June, and by mid-July you're eating beans. But there's a specific window. Bush beans love warm soil once temperatures hit 70 to 80 degrees. But the moment daytime air temps go over 95 degrees, the flowers start dropping before they ever turn into beans. Not just a few flowers, all of them. The plant looks healthy from the outside, leaves are green, but harvests suddenly shrink. In northern gardens, your window is June 1st to June 25th. Southern gardeners need to move faster. Plant by mid-June so flowers form before those brutal July temperatures arrive. And don't substitute pole beans. They take nearly double the time. For quick summer harvests, bush beans are the move, every time. 2. Cucumbers. The plant looks great, but it's secretly producing zero harvestable fruit. Cucumbers are one of the most misleading plants in a summer garden. Huge leaves, fast growth, yellow flowers everywhere, and somehow you still harvest almost nothing. Most people blame watering, but heat is the real problem. When daytime temperatures stay above 90 degrees, especially when nights stay warm too, cucumber plants experience a hormonal shift. They produce way more male flowers than female ones. And female flowers are the only ones that actually become cucumbers. So the plant keeps growing and flowering, looks completely healthy, but production quietly collapses. On top of that, extreme heat slows bee activity right when pollination is needed most. In northern states, plant between June 1 and June 20th and use succession planting. So smaller batches every couple of weeks. Cucumber vines burn out faster than people think in extreme heat. Fresh younger plants almost always outperform stressed older ones by midsummer. 3. Zucchini. Those tiny rotting fruits, that's not disease, it's failed pollination. Zucchini is one of those crops that makes people feel like amazing gardeners, right up until summer heat turns on them. When conditions are good, one healthy plant can keep producing so much food that people start giving it away to neighbors. But extreme heat creates a problem that confuses everyone the first time they see it. Tiny zucchinis start forming, then suddenly turn yellow, shrivel near the stem, and rot before they ever grow. Most people assume it's fungal disease. Usually it's failed pollination. Once temperatures get too intense, bee activity drops hard. At the same time, zucchini plants shift to producing more male flowers than female ones. The plant looks full of blooms, but fewer zucchinis develop. Get your zucchini in the ground between May 15th and June 20th. Later in summer, squash vine borers become a nightmare on weak plants. And remember, deep watering, not quick surface watering. Zucchini grows fast, and shallow roots struggle badly once real summer heat shows up. 4. Sweet corn. Planting in one long row. That's why your corn keeps failing. Sweet corn is one of the most rewarding crops you can grow, and one of the most heartbreaking when pollination fails. Corn is wind pollinated. Pollen falls from the tassels at the top down onto the silks below. Every single silk connects to exactly one kernel. When July heat waves hit, dry winds desiccate the silks. They dry out and stop receiving pollen, The result is an ear with random gaps of missing kernels. Here's the mistake most beginners make: planting corn in one long row. Wrong. Because corn is wind pollinated, it needs to be planted in a block, minimum 4 by 4 feet. In a single row, pollen blows away and misses the silks entirely. Even a small square patch works dramatically better. Plant between May 1 and June 20th and never plant different corn varieties within 600 feet of each other. Cross-pollination turns your sweet corn starchy and flavorless. 5. Beets. You're throwing away half this crop without even knowing it. Beets are one of the most underrated summer crops, mostly because people only think about the roots and forget the leaves are edible too. You're getting 2 harvests in one plant. The roots for roasting and pickling, and the greens which cook almost exactly like Swiss chard. Beets prefer temperatures between 60 and 75 degrees. If root development happens during the dead of July heat, the plant's metabolism shifts. Instead of converting starches into sugars, it just grows fast and rough. You cut open a beet and find pale white rings in the flesh. That's heat stress. These beets are bitter, woody, and far less sweet. Plant in June. Use thick mulch in hotter climates, and remember, beets hate rocky or compacted ground. Hard soil forces roots to split and deform instead of growing smooth and round. 6. Carrots. The cardboard trick saves carrot germination, and most people have never heard of it. Carrots sound easy until you try growing them in summer. Carrot seeds are tiny. They're planted only 1/8 to 1/4 inch deep. At that shallow depth, the topsoil dries out extremely fast under direct sun, and carrot seeds take 10 to 21 days to germinate, a 3-week window where the soil has to stay continuously moist. If it dries out even once, even for one afternoon, the embryo dies. The fix: the cardboard method. After you sow and water your seeds, lay wooden boards or thick cardboard directly over the row. It blocks sun, traps moisture, and keeps soil temperature stable. Check every single day. The moment you see tiny green sprouts, pull the boards off immediately. Leave them even 1 day too long, and the seedlings stretch pale and weak. Plant between June 10 and June 30th in loose, stone-free soil. 7. Sweet potatoes. 120 days of warm soil needed, and there's a hard June 15th deadline. Sweet potatoes actually love brutal summer heat. Once established, they handle hot weather better than almost anything else in the garden. The vines spread everywhere, they tolerate dry conditions well, and pests mostly leave them alone. But planting too late is the #1 mistake. Sweet potatoes need at least 120 days of warm soil to develop proper tubers. The vines above ground grow fast, but the actual tubers take months to bulk up. If cooler fall temperatures arrive too early, you dig tiny pencil-sized potatoes instead of full harvests. The absolute latest you should plant slips is June 15th. Pro tip: use black plastic mulch early in the season to warm the soil faster, and avoid heavy nitrogen fertilizer. It produces massive vines but barely any potatoes underground. 8. Basil. Stop letting your basil bolt. Here's the pinching trick that changes everything. Every garden needs basil, but young plants are more fragile in summer heat than most people realize. In peak July heat, water evaporates through the thin leaves faster than the shallow roots can absorb it. The leaves scorch. The plant wilts even when the soil is moist. Then there's bolting. Once basil starts flowering, leaf production slows and the flavor turns bitter almost immediately. The fix: pinch off the top leaf buds regularly. Every time you see the plant trying to send up a flower stalk, snap it off. This redirects energy into leaf production and keeps flavor high. Harvesting more often actually makes the plant perform better. Plant between May 15 and June 30th and pair it with your tomatoes. They end up on the same dinner plate anyway. 9. Okra. Soak the seeds overnight. This one step doubles your germination rate. Okra makes summer heat look weak. While other vegetables struggle in July, okra almost seems happier. The hotter it gets, the faster it grows. But most people fail with okra before the plant even gets started. Okra seeds have a hard outer coating that struggles in cool soil. Plant too early and they rot. Wait too long and the summer soil bakes into a hard crust that physically traps emerging seedlings underground. The fix: soak okra seeds in warm water for 24 hours before planting. This softens the seed coat and dramatically improves germination. Most people skip this and wonder why half their seeds didn't come up. Plant between May 15 and June 25 in full sun. Once established, harvest pods when they're 3 to 4 inches long. Check daily because they turn tough and fibrous incredibly fast. 10. Tomatoes. Blossom drop isn't your fault, but variety choice can fix most of it. Tomatoes are the crop people care about most, which is exactly why midsummer heat becomes so frustrating. Your plants can look incredible in July. Huge vines, dark green leaves, flowers everywhere, and meanwhile almost no new tomatoes are forming. Here's the science. Once temperatures stay above 90 degrees during the day and nights stay above 75, tomato pollen starts failing. Pollen germination rates collapse. Flowers wither and drop without ever setting fruit. Blossom drop. The plant still looks completely healthy. That's what makes tomatoes so deceptive in summer. Solution: get transplants established by June 25th and choose cherry tomato varieties. Sunscald is widely considered the best heat performer available. Their smaller flowers self-pollinate more efficiently even in extreme heat. Always prioritize deep watering over frequent shallow watering. Strong roots make a massive difference. 11. Peppers. Sunscald destroys more peppers than disease, but almost nobody talks about it. Peppers share the same heat vulnerabilities as tomatoes: blossom drop, pollen sterility, production slowdowns. But there's an additional threat: Sunscald. If a pepper plant hasn't developed a dense canopy before July heat arrives, the developing peppers are exposed to direct sunlight for hours every day. The skin heats beyond what the fruit tissue can handle. The result is pale white, papery patches on the sun-facing side. Those patches soften, wrinkle, and rot, ruining the pepper entirely. A well-established pepper plant shades its own fruit with a dense leaf canopy. But if you plant late and the canopy isn't built before July, every developing pepper is exposed. Get transplants in the ground from mid-May through June 20th. For late-season planting, choose fast-maturing varieties. Shishito peppers, early jalapenos, and lunchbox peppers mature in as little as 50 days from transplant. 12. Kale. You're planting it in summer, but you're harvesting it in fall. That's exactly the point. Most people think of kale as a cold weather crop. Planting it in summer seems completely backwards. But that thinking is exactly wrong, and the science behind why is genuinely fascinating. Kale planted in mid to late June goes through summer as a slowly growing plant. Heat-tolerant varieties like Lacinato and Red Russian survive. They're not thriving, but they're building roots and canopy. Waiting. Then autumn arrives. When the first light frosts hit, around 28 to 32 degrees, something biochemical happens. The plant converts stored starches into sugars as an antifreeze mechanism. And those sugars are the flavor. Frost-kissed kale tastes sweeter, richer, and more complex than anything you'd harvest in August. The key: the plant needs a large root system and substantial canopy already built before frost arrives. If you plant kale in September, it's too small when frosts hit. But if you plant it in June, by October you have massive, well-developed plants producing heavily through autumn and into early winter. You're planting in summer to harvest in fall. That is a completely different way of thinking, and one of the most effective strategies in any vegetable garden. 13. Swiss chard, the insurance crop. When every other green collapses in summer heat, Swiss chard just keeps going. Here it is, the one I promised you in the intro, the most underrated crop in backyard gardening. You know what spinach does in summer? It bolts. In a matter of days after temperatures climb, spinach sends up a flower stalk, turns bitter, and becomes inedible. Lettuce does the same thing. Heat hits, it bolts, it's over. Swiss chard doesn't do this. Swiss chard is extraordinarily heat-resistant compared to every other leafy green. It keeps producing edible leaves through summer heat that would destroy every other green in your garden. The leaves might droop during brutal afternoon temperatures, then recover by evening like nothing happened. In mild climates, it produces straight through autumn and into winter. One of the longest producing crops in the entire garden. Plant by late June in fertile, loose soil. Use a thick 3-inch layer of straw mulch around the plants. This keeps the root zone cooler, holds moisture longer, and buffers against temperature swings. This single step can completely change how long chard stays productive through summer. This crop is a genuine insurance policy for your summer garden. When beans blossom drop, when cucumbers stop producing, when tomatoes bake on the vine, the Swiss chard is still there, still growing, still feeding you. Before July hits, plant smart, not late. Because once extreme heat arrives, even healthy plants can stop producing overnight. So tell me in the comments, which crop struggles first in your garden every summer? And subscribe now, because the next video might literally save your August harvest.